when I met with Senator Reid, I mean, Senator Reid's a household name, and I was having to kind of pinch myself. I mean, he arrived on the scene and he had like an entourage, he had security detail. This guy kept looking at me. Anytime I went anywhere near Senator Reid, this guy's looking at me like, don't get too close. But, you know, and I've been investigating this stuff for some time. And for Senator Reid to drop two bombs, one is he revealed the level of resistance he got from the intelligence agencies just trying to launch an investigation to study all these phenomena. That in itself was a miracle to get that thing off the ground. Two, he uncovered the fact that there's a mountain of evidence that's never seen the light of day, and he admits it on camera, which is like unbelievable. Because look, we've all suspected this stuff, but to get that level of confirmation from that guy, like the guy
doesn't even say. He says, I'm like, you haven't even scratched the surface or something.
It was really funny. It was really funny because, quite honestly, I had a very finite period of time with him, and when he arrived, it was like, okay, everything was ready to go. Sit down in the chair, boom, get the interview going. And I didn't want to push his comfort zone. I was quite honestly worried that at any moment he would get up and leave, right? So I kind of felt him out for about 35, 40 minutes. And I think I had about 8 more minutes with him before he had to leave. So I said, you know, all right, screw it. I'm going to ask him this question. And I brought up an interview that I did with Gordon Cooper back in the 90s. Gordon Cooper was a Mercury astronaut, colonel. He was at Edwards Air Force Base circa 1957. And he was overseeing the installation of a new landing facility for F-86 fighter jets. And these guys had their cameras rolling. And out of the blue, a disc-shaped object appears and lands in the dry lake bed. The guys turn their cameras on it, they film it. It sits on the ground for a moment. They take a few steps towards it. It lifts off and then boom, shoots off at a high rate of speed. Well, I interviewed Colonel Gordon Cooper about this. And I said to him, he said, did you watch the movie? He said, well, I held it up and I saw it was good, perfectly good film. It was a disc on the ground, blah, blah. Describe what it looked like, broad daylight. And he said, I got higher and higher up at the chain of command. Eventually a courier jet came in from Washington. I handed the footage over and that was it. And
that was the last time he's ever seen it.
So I brought this story up with Senator Reid. This is what led to what we're about to discuss here. And I said, and then he told me on camera that he handed the footage over, and then Senator Reid said, and it was never seen or heard from ever again. I said, exactly. I said, did you find stuff like that? And he says, oh yeah, it's all there. And I just thought, and then he tried to change the subject on me, and I went, well hold on. So are you telling me that there's evidence that hasn't seen the light of day? And he pauses, and it seemed at the time like a 10-minute pause, but it wasn't. Probably just a couple of seconds. And he picks up his water bottle, takes the cap off, has a sip, puts the cap back on, and he says, I'm saying that most of the evidence hasn't seen the light of day. And it was like, I just heard this, you know that computer sound that goes, when you know what I'm talking about? It goes, oh, it was like a halo of gold. And I was like, oh.
That's what I heard in my own head when he did it. I went, I literally sat at my bed going, oh my God.
He thought about it. He thought about it for a moment. Am I going to do this? Yeah. And then I'll take it a step further. This is crazy. This added another year of production on the film. And so did the 2 years for the ATIP program that was revealed on the front page of the New York Times. I said, Senator, would you mind terribly if we could get a quick B-roll shot of the two of us walking just in case I need it in the edit room? He said, oh, of course, he's a seasoned guy. He's a politician. He knew what I was talking about. He goes, yeah, we've got about 2 minutes. I said, okay, great. So I told the camera guy, I said, don't worry about the lighting. Don't worry about audio. Let's just get this. So I'm in the hallway with him, and I figured, well, I might as well take advantage of the fact that I'm walking with Senator Harry Reid right now.
Totally.
Right? Yeah. And I said, it's really fun. It's not getting too close to him. And I was looking at the security guard kind of checking me out the whole time. It's really weird. And I said, Senator, if you don't mind, what was one of the more astonishing aspects that you uncovered on the phenomenon during this ATIP program? And without hesitation, he said, the fact that these things were not only incursions over the super secret nuclear weapons facilities, but in some instances shutting these things off. And in a couple of instances, if the president of the United States wanted to launch, he couldn't have done so. And I just thought, that's unbelievable, because it's one thing to like talk about a UFO, right? When you think about a UFO, it's just an unidentified flying object in the sky. You don't really know where it's from. You don't know what its intent is, but that has intent. There is an intelligence behind that. There's something being said. And I knew right then and there that I had to visit this aspect of the phenomenon. I contacted a guy named Robert Hastings. I spent about a year putting that 10-minute section together with UFOs and nukes. And I'll never forget a launch control officer, nerves of steel, super calm. He's like, well, James, message is pretty clear to me. I said, what do you mean? He goes, well, the way I see it, it's like taking matches out of the hands of a baby.
Oh my God, that's a crazy analogy.
I know, it's crazy, right?
That is crazy.